Welcome back. It's time for another off-season update. I have just wrapped up my 16th week of this off-season. Food is currently around 3,200 to 3,300, sometimes 3,500. Been doing that for a couple of weeks, I think, ever since the previous check-in or the previous off-season update. I've been on those calories. Training has been somewhat the same, like push, pull legs, rest, upper lower rest, sometimes push pull legs, upper lower, and then 2 rest days. Progress has been okay, I guess. Most of my lifts have been going up, but I guess the most important part of today's update is that I think I'm gonna have to stop bulking right now. So just to give you guys the context, the details of why I might have to stop bulking. So again, stopping bulking doesn't really mean I'm gonna cut, but it gives me the option right now to go either on a maintenance phase, on a mini cut, on a slow cut, as long as I'm not gonna be on an aggressive surplus, or probably not a surplus at all. So if you remember from the previous update, I said I would keep doing this linear surplus thing until I'd hit 170. But for this week, I have managed to, I think, hold on like 169 average. Didn't quite hit 170. Actually, I haven't hit 170 yet. But I don't really plan on pushing much further, at least for now. With the weather, it's been weird, you know, and walking around, getting my steps, going to the gym has been quite difficult. In the past, it would have been no problem, but right now I'm kind of feeling, I'm not sure if it's the heat or if it's the body weight, but it's just been a bit of a struggle walking around, moving around. I've definitely been feeling a lot more lazy, a lot more sluggish, moving around, moving from one place to the other, especially, well, to and from the gym. That's usually okay because I do that in the morning. But like walking to the grocery, walking back with the groceries, I do find myself coming back and getting home, having to catch my breath much more often. There's also been this weird observation thing where, you know how when you eat, it usually triggers like a metabolic response. And what I've noticed recently was that maybe it's just because this is sort of new to me, being this consistent on relatively, I mean, you know, based on my weight, based on my height, based on my context and everything, this is pretty high in terms of calories, in terms of carbs. And because I do prefer to eat like thrice a day, I've been having to spam like 1,000 plus calories per meal. And I've noticed, especially if I eat a big meal and then lie down, because that's usually how it goes. Like I'll eat and then I'll rest a little bit, usually just to digest, or just because I'm too full and I don't really want to move around so much. But when I lie down, I get it. I'm not sick or anything. It's just I get kind of feverish, or rather my temperature just goes up. And it's uncomfortable. I just don't really like it so much. It affects me in a way that I guess it just amplifies the laziness, the lack of motivation to move and to even like train properly. Now, for something like this, it's actually very easy to address. I guess common sense would tell you that maybe I shouldn't just, have 3 meals at 1,000 to 1,200 calories each. I should most likely split them up into around 700 calories, have 1 to 2, maybe even 3 snacks in between. But I just don't really feel like preparing more dishes, washing more dishes. And honestly, I just feel like even if I decided to split up my meals, to break them down, to spread them apart, I just don't think that would necessarily impact my, this whole sluggishness issue, this sweatiness, this heat issue, with the whole weather change and everything. I'm not sure if that would really help me so much. So at this point, I've decided that maybe it's about time to not really mini cut again, just slow down a bit. I might give myself about like a month at maintenance, somewhere around the 2.6 to 2.8. Actually, maintenance would be somewhere around 3,000, 2.9 to 3,000. but I'm gonna go a bit under that just to rebuild my appetite, I guess. And hopefully if I do lose like a little bit of weight, it should make it easier for me to get better training sessions in because I just won't feel as bad. So I guess just to make this a bit more useful for everyone, I'm just gonna summarize the points I've made on when I think you should stop bulking or when I think you should stop being on a surplus. So number one here is like when you've lost your appetite, when when you're eating a lot consistently and you're keeping your macros relatively tight and consistently so. And as you gain weight, it's pretty normal that you're gonna lose your appetite. For me, what I usually do is that when I'm on a deload, I'll reduce my calories. So that's just like a week to rebuild my appetite, really. I know some people like to add in cardio just to build that back up. But I don't think I have much time throughout the day. Actually, you know what? I do have time throughout the day. I'm just lazy. But you can always just add cardio, build up your appetite. But that also means you're gonna have to eat a little more to adjust to, of course, the added expenditure. So that's not my plan right now. I'm just gonna go calories down until my appetite goes back up. Second point here is if you start feeling sluggish, which usually comes with the weight. Once you get a bit heavier, obviously it's harder to move around. And in my case, it's a bit weird. I guess it's normal for some people. But because I am gaining more fat everywhere, like my legs, especially when I'm walking around, get maybe like 1,000 to like 2,000 steps. I actually get some chafing between my thighs, so I just prefer not to walk as much as possible. But also, again, with the larger meals, you just start feeling more sluggish because it does take you more time to digest these big meals. As to when you should stop is once you start feeling uncomfortable. I wouldn't say really like in a visual sense, in an aesthetic sense, but more just how you feel throughout the day. If you start feeling sluggish, if it affects your daily life, like if you're having trouble doing stuff at work, like getting your work done, if it makes you just want to fall asleep throughout the day and even in your sessions because it just doesn't feel right anymore. I don't know how to explain it. It feels kind of disgusting. Like when you're bloated, when you're feeling extra heavy, and when you can kind of still feel the food moving around in your stomach. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but yeah, the sluggishness and like the whole feeling bloated thing. If you're going through that and if it negatively impacts like the rest of your day, the rest of your week, the rest of your program, then it might be a good time to stop on the surplus. Again, just those three because I am trying to keep this update quick and simple. Again, if you have been on a surplus, if you've been in your off season for a long time and you find yourself having no more appetite, being disgusted by food, or if you find that your current weight is affecting your daily life negatively, or number three, if it affects your training negatively, then it might be a good idea to slow down your bulk. And that's it for this month's off-season update. You'll find out next month if I decided to go on a mini cut or if I've just decided to hold on maintenance, but I will give you guys my updates soon. So if you guys like this video, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any more questions about this off-season, about this bulk, and subscribe to the channel, please, 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 and I will see you all in the next one.